So when you're lying on your back, for our purposes today, down will be towards your feet. So downwards will be towards your feet. If your hands are on the floor by your sides, your fingers are pointing downwards towards your feet. And then if you bend your arms in the position that we had last week, which was out to the sides at right angles as best you can. So the upper, the whole arm is out to the side, like make the letter T. So the side, what does that mean? To the right and to the left, straight out to the sides, to the right and to the left. And then you bend your arms so that your forearm and your hand is at a vertical relationship to the floor. Okay, so vertical means upright. So you're horizontal, and then you bend the elbows so that the forearms and hands are vertical. They're standing up. And this is our candelabra. This is our candelabra position. Now, as best you can in this position, have your elbows out to the side rather than down towards your hips. Yes. So straight out from your shoulders. Okay, so that's, and we'll work within that constraint because that is the level of the shoulder girdle. Okay, so this is our candelabra. Up is up towards the ceiling. Down, now bring your hands so that the fingers are pointing down towards the feet and the palms are on the floor. So that's downwards. Now bring them back vertical to your candelabra position. And now bring your hands backwards towards the floor. Backwards towards the floor. The backs of the hands going back towards the floor. And your hands may or may not touch the floor. It doesn't matter. You definitely do not want to force anything in the shoulder joint. Okay, so that's backwards. And then vertical is, let's go vertical. 1, 2, 3, vertical. Yeah, candelabra position. Okay, fingertips down, palms on the floor, go downwards. Bring the hands downwards towards the floor. And then bring the hands back up and continue so that they go backwards towards the floor on either side of your head. Okay, does that make sense? Excellent. Let's bring our arms down to a comfortable place. Christy, did you have any questions on those orientations?
No, I'm good.
You're good. Okay. So bring your arms down to a comfortable position, or you can leave them wherever they are. Bring them to a comfortable position and stand both your feet. Stand both your feet and take a moment to feel the pressure of your soles of your feet on the floor. And the position of your knees separated with space. The feet and legs are separated. And then just tilt your knees a little to the right slowly and come back several times. So we're very clear with this orientation. And go slowly over and slowly back so that your legs could match your pattern of easy and relaxed breathing. And so you can notice if your knees go over as you inhale and back to the center as you exhale. That's one way you could do it. And then you could play with reversing the breath. Exhale as the knees come over and inhale as the knees come back. That's possible. And there's 2 more variations we could do. We could take a breath in and hold the breath as we tilt the knees over and come back. Feel how that is different. Might not be that pleasant. And then we could exhale all the air out and think of being empty and lower the knees over and come back. If you're just empty of all air, you're just a skeleton. Empty over there and empty coming back. So it's interesting to play with how we breathe and how we move. The breath has a direct effect. And now the next time your knees are vertical, go ahead and take a little rest. And you can lengthen down your legs and feel if just those 4 explorations, did it change something about how the right side or the left side lays on the floor? Or maybe you're breathing. Okay, stand up your knees again and stand your feet that comfortable distance apart in that sweet spot. And in your own timing, play with these 4 different options of breathing in relationship to moving. Over to the left with the knees. Take your time. Go 2 or 3 times with one pattern and then intentionally change. Pause as you need to. Make it simpler each time. If you get a cramp in your leg, you can certainly stop until it subsides. Or do less. Do a very small, tiny movement. Because we're not symmetrical by any stretch of the imagination. And after you've explored those different, the variations on a theme of tilting your knees and breathing, you can decide which one do you prefer and why? Why is it preferable? Where is it more comfortable? What is it about breathing in a specific way that makes the movement more pleasing to your system? And then take another rest after you've explored that. Feel how you fit on the ground. The length of your legs. The contact. The contact of your pelvis and your torso. You're breathing, expanding your belly, the ribs and the chest, maybe even the back into the floor. Your shoulder blades. And let's check in with our necks and just roll the head a little one way, a little the other, keeping it very comfortable. Keeping it comfortable for the neck and the shoulders and the spine. And then pause. Find a quiet, still place. And then draw up your knees again and establish that comfortable stance. And bring your arms out to the side. And you can check with your look to the right, look to the left. Are your arms out to the side or are they not? And then bend up your elbows so that you have your candles, your candelabra. And just as a review from last week, lower your hands towards the floor downwards in the direction of the feet and come back. And notice if your shoulders get involved, that your shoulders participate and come forward towards the ceiling. Maybe yes, maybe no, but you could try that. What if the next time you lowered your palms towards the floor, you also pressed your lower back a bit more into the floor? Press your belt line a little more into the floor comfortably. And come back. The hands don't have to touch the floor by any means. If you have one hand that touches easily and the other hand does not touch, well, default so that both hands are the same and default to the side that is more restricted, so that you have a sense of balance, but you're not trying to force one shoulder to be like the other. They're brothers, they're sisters. And now lower your palms backwards towards the floor so the backs of the hands approach the floor behind you. And notice what this does, if it does anything to your spine, if it affects your neck. And what if the next time you brought your hands backwards towards the floor, what if you lifted your spine away from the floor a little bit? Maybe just pull the lower back a little bit away from the floor so the spine arches a little bit. Does that make a difference? You could also press the spine, the lower back into the floor. It's different to lift the lower back or press the lower back as the hands go backwards. Notice what your head and your chin might like to do. Do they participate? So that you find the option, kind of noodle around, and you find the option of pressing your back or not pressing your back or pressing your feet or looking up or looking down. Finding the version that works best for you, that allows the hands to smoothly go backwards in the most comfortable manner for you. So the arms feel free and connected. You can noodle around. You can try breathing differently, holding the breath, exhaling and being empty, an empty skeleton. What does that do? What does that do to your spine? What's the sensation in your ribs, your back? You're just exploring with curiosity. And then take a rest. You can lengthen down your legs or you can leave them drawn up. Breathing, your contact. If you roll your head a little here and there, right and left. What you notice. And then go ahead and draw up your feet again, comfortable distance apart, feet standing. And just tilt the knees to the right once slowly and come back, and then to the left once slowly. And see how this has changed. We started with this movement. And then we explored the shoulder girdle. And now we go back to tilting the legs and rolling the pelvis. And how does it feel? Okay. Keep your rest with your feet standing, and bring your arms out again to the sides and light your candles. Bend your forearms, fingertips up towards the ceiling, forearms are vertical. And now begin to tilt your knees again to the right and to the left, and listen very closely to your shoulder girdle. And notice if one hand feels like it gets pulled down towards the feet or up towards the head. If one hand were to go down towards the feet and the other hand were to simultaneously go up towards the head, which one might it be for you? So listen very closely. What pattern might emerge from your knees tilting one direction and the pelvis rolling to follow the knees? And then allow that to happen. Allow one hand to go. And if you're not sure, if you can't tell, well, then just pick one hand and bring it up towards your head as you bring the other palm down towards the floor in the direction of the feet. Which means you'll kind of be in a swastika, which Hitler took from the Buddhist tradition. The swastika was originally the symbol for the sun, the rays of the sun. In Buddhism, you can see it in any Buddhist temple. You're like, why are all these swastikas on the Buddhas? Well, it's the sun. Very, very interesting. And find in concert with your knees, can you distinguish a connection between your tilting knees, your rolling pelvis, which is turning your spine, and the shoulder girdle, one hand up and one hand down? And then we're going to add one more thing before we take a rest. Which way would you turn your head? Would you turn your head towards the hand coming up towards the face, or would you turn your head in the direction of the hand going down towards the feet? So what do you spontaneously do? And do you do it on the other side? Maybe, maybe not. Don't want to make any assumptions here. But what's most comfortable and available for you? Okay, this is some excellent exploring, ladies. So let's reward ourselves with a rest. Now see if you can get an image of your spine. So we've got the skull. We can feel that resting on the pillow or on the floor. And then the neck probably doesn't touch. Might touch the pillow a bit, but if you're resting your head on the floor, your neck will kind of be naked. It'll be not resting on the floor. And then follow as though you could reach inside yourself with an invisible hand and take each vertebra, starting at the very top of the spine, where the spine joins your head. Actually, it's up inside the head, the top. It's behind your upper palate. But if you could reach inside yourself with an invisible hand and take hold of each vertebra with your thumb and forefinger. And like this, with this invisible hand, go down your spine, one vertebra at a time, just touching each vertebra with the forefinger and the thumb on the front and the back of the vertebra. And take your time to go down your spine and take hold of each vertebra as you imagine it until you get all the way down to the last lumbar vertebra that attaches to the pelvis, the sacrum. So take your time. When you get all the way down to your sacrum, stand up your feet so that I know you're there, but take your time. Don't rush, just so that I know when you're at the base of your spine. You could even go all the way through the thick bone of the pelvis and touch the very sensitive tip of your tailbone. Maybe you don't want to do that. With the other hand, so I don't know if you used a right invisible hand or a left invisible hand, but with the other one, start at the base of your spine and touch each vertebra until you go all the way up to the occiput. And when you've reached the top of the spine, then go ahead and lengthen down your legs. You can feel the bony protuberance at the back, like a button, and the smooth, rounded surface that's in the front of the spine. In between each vertebra, there is a layer of cartilage, which we call them sometimes discs, made of gelatinous material that serves as a cushion in between each of your vertebrae. When you're done, you can lengthen down your legs. Or wait, I don't know. You can bend up your legs. That's right. You can bend up your legs. And if you've fallen asleep, then I'll just know that you've drifted off to the land of Nod. Okay, looks like we are done with that. So now tilt your knees again to the right and again to the left. And which of the vertebrae, do you have a better sense of the vertebrae that turn counter to one another? So some of the vertebrae turn to the right, and then there's a juncture at where the vertebrae start to turn to the left, which means that the spine is twisting because we're not rolling, we're kind of twisting. And bring your arms out again to the candelabra. Establish your candelabra straight out to the side and start to lower one palm to the floor towards the feet and one palm up towards the head as you tilt your legs. And see if you can distinguish in your spine where the vertebrae twist. Like, what is the juncture of the spine where it turns right and then the next vertebra starts turning left because you're starting to twist? And that will have a direct, it will, if you turn your head one way, it will be a different vertebra. If you turn the head the other way, it'll be different.
Mm.
So you could, in your mind's eye, you could go inside and take hold of your vertebra with each invisible hand. The vertebrae that are right next to each other, the ones that you feel turning one way and the one above it or below it is turning the other way. And with your invisible hands, you can help the vertebra turn a little more one way and the other, as though you were manually helping those two vertebrae turn in opposition relative to one another. And you can go through, you can feel which way are these vertebrae turning? Are they turning? Are they all turning to the right? Which one turns to the left? You can help clarify that. And then feel where you might place your invisible hands, fingertips, if you turned the head the other way. If you can imagine your spine, your vertebrae like cylinders turning. Those lower cylinders turn one direction, the upper cylinders turn another direction. Where is that juncture? Can you help it be clearer with your invisible hands? And then did you lose track of your knees? Did you lose track of your arms? Did you stop breathing? Which way are you looking with your head? And what happens if you look opposite? And the knees and the hands and the spine and the head, they all move in concert with one another so that it's like they're all following the music. And nobody gets out of step or is ahead. And can you keep track of your appendages? Your thighs, your knees, your elbows, and your hands. And can you stay with your spine? Like your spine is the engine. that drives the knees one way and the arms the other, and one this way and one the other, but the spine and your breath. And the quality, each time you make it smoother, more pleasing, more to your liking, more graceful. And then let's take a rest. Bring it all back to the middle and lengthen down your legs and lengthen down your arms and rest. Observe your breathing. And if you roll your head one way and the other, is it smoother? Is it freer? And can you feel, even though you're just rolling your head, that it's somehow connected to your pelvis? Or maybe you don't feel it all the way to the pelvis, but you feel it to a certain juncture that you touched, a certain vertebra that you touched with your fingertips. It's beautiful. Okay. Bend your knees and stand your feet. And bring your arms out to the sides, directly to the sides. Yeah, check. You can roll your head. See, are you doing what you think you're doing? Are you doing something completely wacko? And then bend up your elbows so your forearms are vertical. Okay, so now we're going to kind of get a little crazy. Okay, we're going to go a little crazy. So, can you tilt your knees to the right as you bring your right hand upwards towards the head and the left hand downwards towards the feet, and turn the face to the right? So you're going to do this swastika. The right arm goes up, the left arm goes down, the knees go to the right, and the face goes to look at the hand. To look at the hand, the thumb of the hand that's coming towards the face. Look with your eyes towards, look right at your thumbnail. And now as you come back, reverse that. So we're all on the same page. Come back and reverse the pattern. The head is turning towards the hand going upward. The knees go left. The head goes left, the knees go left, the right arm goes down, and the left hand goes upwards. And just do this pattern a few times. So the knees go right, the head goes right, the left hand goes down towards the feet, and the right hand comes up towards the head. That's the pattern. And then you just go to the other side. You reverse that to the other side. And when the knees are in the middle, the candles are burning brightly, and then they start to drip wax all over the floor as the knees tilt. And you go the opposite direction. Now notice if you start to bring your arms out of the right angled constraint. So the one constraint is that the elbows are out to the sides, but the other constraint is that the arms are bent at a right angle. So notice if one arm starts to straighten, as it goes downwards, or want to move out of position. The elbow starts to slip downwards. So go much smaller. Stay true to the form and just make it smaller so that you can stay within the form. So some habits try to take over unless we get in there and say, no, you stay in your place. We're trying something different now. You can go back to your evil ways when we're done, but we're going to give our nervous system and body a chance to do something different, because our habits can become like evil dictators. And we don't even know we've been overtaken. But we just gently encourage a new behavior. A new behavior rises up from inside of ourselves and becomes gradually better and better until the habit leaves, sort of just pop, disappears. And the habit will be there when you need it, because our habits are serving us. Sometimes our habits don't serve us in the best ways. So now, can you continue in this pattern except change one thing? Your head rolls to the other direction. And what did that change? Did that hijack you? Did you, okay, wait, what does she mean? And it's smooth in the head and the pelvis and the knees and the elbows and the candles, all moving in concert with the symphony. You are the conductor of your own symphony. Now change one thing. Move your knees to the opposite direction so you can pause in a position, pause in a swastika. Then just move the knees slowly over to the other side. And that is your new starting place. And then you continue on. Knees up, change the hands, change the arms. So we're just thinking about the movement now from different places. Thinking of changing one thing and how that changing that one thing can be so completely confusing. And that's the fun of it. It's like, wait a minute, I was so happy in my pattern. It was starting to become a habit. And now I'm going to go in there and say, hey, we're going to do something different now. Don't rest on your laurels. Now, wherever you are in your swastika, whichever side, one arm is up. And if you're not sure, just go into a position. Just go into one arm up, one arm down, and your knees over to one side, and your head turned one way. Now, there we froze the time. Now move one thing, change the arm angles, the other arm down, the other arm up, reverse them. That's your new starting place. And now keep going with the pattern. Start dancing again. Until it becomes familiar. It's like, oh yeah, I know this dance step. I know this dance step. And sometimes you step on your partner's toes. Sometimes your skirt falls down or you lose your shoe. And now freeze in one side or the other, one side or the other, one side or the other, in one swastika or the other. The head is turned one way or the other. Now change just one thing, and that one thing is the eyes. Take the eyes the opposite direction of your nose, the opposite direction of your face, and start from here. So keep going with your pattern, but the eyes are now moving opposite to the direction of the face. And did you stop breathing? Yeah, that's the good thing. There's a sort of a built-in mechanism. You will start breathing again eventually. Okay, now we've completely jumbled things. So come back to the middle and take a rest. Now let's reassemble ourselves. Bend your knees, stand your feet, bring your arms out to the sides, straight out to the right and the left. Light your candles, lift your candelabra to the ceiling. Yeah, your fingertips. And now the knees go one way, the head goes the other, or the same way. One hand goes up and one hand goes down, up to you. But find the pattern that you like. Knees go one way, one arm goes up, the other goes down. The head goes either towards the hand going downwards or towards the hand coming towards the face. These can be very small movements. You can, or maybe they have naturally become larger. Feel how you turn your back and your ribs into the floor. Which pattern did you choose? Did you choose looking towards the hand going up and the face in the direction of the knees? Or did you choose something different? And now just choose something different. Just choose something different. It's like stop at a stoplight, but keep your engine running. Turn, change one of the gears, and then keep going. So it's all about choice. And now choose something different. It can be the arms, it can be the head, it can be the knees, it can be the eyes. It can be your pattern of breathing. If you do it with the eyes open all the time, you could try it with the eyes closed. There's many variations we could do. But now it's time to I'm so glad we had this time together. Lengthen down your legs, take a rest. Feel what has changed for you. And roll to your side and bring yourself up to standing. Slowly. Take your time. Feel you're standing. Move your shoulders a little bit, move your head, look a little here, look a little there. Maintaining your comfort on each side. take a few steps around. Reassemble your walking, which may be a bit different. And I predict that this lesson may work on you for the next couple of hours.